All right, so the last bit of syntax with transitions that you need to know is the shorthand way of writing them all in one line. So those 4 properties, I've color-coded them here with a bit of a rainbow. So rather than having to do transition dash property, transition dash duration, and so on, we can just write transition colon and then pass in 4 values. So the first one is transition property. So in this case, this is saying transition the background. Have it take 1.5 seconds. That's the duration. The timing function you should use is ease in, and the delay is 1 second. So you can take 4 lines and compress them into a single line. This is a lot easier, a lot nicer in my opinion, and also way more common. The other thing I should point out before we dive into the code is that you can have multiple transitions. You just string them together with commas. So rather than doing 3 or 4 separate properties and separating them with commas, if we go up to this example, background, comma, border radius, 1 second, comma, 1 second, 5 second, comma, 2 second, you can actually combine them together. So I'll show you how to do that into a single line. But let's start with this one. So we have our animated box as I hover. Let's actually add a delay, just so we're using all 4. Transition delay. Let's make it wait 1 second before it starts. So now 1 second goes by, then it triggers and moves. So I could rewrite this entire thing like this. Transition, the name of the property, which is transform. Next up, we have the duration, 2 seconds. Then the timing function. So we could either copy this, or I'll just use ease in, or let's do ease out. And then after that comes a delay. So 1 second. So I can now comment these 4 lines out. I've replaced them with this 1 line. They're technically not identical because I didn't use this cubic curve. I'm using ease out instead, but you could just replace it. Okay, so let's see what happens. So I'm going to hover, it takes 1 second, and then it triggers. It uses ease out over 2 seconds to transition the transform. All right, so as I mentioned, we could have multiple things that we're transitioning. So let's go back here and not only use transform, translate X, let's also do background color. And let's make it teal. So right now there's no transition affecting background. So I hover and it immediately turns teal, but everything else still works. So now let's say we wanted to add in a transition for that. I just add a comma and I'll type background or background dash color. How long do I want it to take? Let's have it go pretty quick. Let's do half a second. And then let's also have it use linear, and we won't add a delay. Let's say I want it to happen immediately. So we don't always have to have a delay, like I mentioned. So what will happen here is that the background color will start changing immediately. It will only take half a second. Then it will start moving 1 second after we've hovered. So essentially we'll have a half a second pause after the background color changes. So let's try it out. I hover, it takes half a second, changes color, and then moves. Let me try one more time. So it should kick in immediately. There's no delay for the background color, so that starts changing right away. But there's still a transition. It's not an immediate shift, unlike this one here. And we could keep stringing them together if you wanted. One thing that I will say is if you do have a lot of these, what you'll see commonly is people just use returns to space them out because it can be kind of a lot of syntax to take a look at. So you just add commas to separate them out, and you can add as many transitions as you'd like. All right, so that's it for now. That's the shorthand version of transition. Takes 4 properties, combines them into one.